Hey, I'm Broken Finn. You can just call me Finn. This is Between the Game, a fan fiction of Wizard City. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, check out my Wizard 101 playlist. If you want to read past Old Town, there's a link down below to my Google Doc where you can read the fan fiction. If you want to play the game alongside Between the Game, Wizard 101 is also linked down below. I hope you enjoy Talon enrolling into Ravenwood. Now that the guards don't need any more help, you ask for directions out of Unicorn Way. Private Connolly points past a few merchant tents and a large walled-off castle with a wooden plaque that says Arena. His direction leads toward a dark tunnel. You cautiously walk through the ill-lit tunnel and shield yourself from the bright light on the other side. You explore the Commons neighborhood. The cul-de-sac is well decorated with bright, colorful banners. None of the buildings line up with any sort of grid, and each house has different colored shingles on the roofs. The Commons is bustling with wizards. Not a single student is wearing their school uniform. They ride large beasts, and others walk with many enemies by their side. Some of them ignore the walkway, getting wet in a small lake and fishing with their wands. Your eyes widen. You're in awe. The torrent of creatures of every shape and size leaves your imagination buzzing. Will you be like them someday? You continue to wander until you find the library. It's easy to identify due to all the floating books that seep in and out of the open windows. 2 marbled lion statues that guard the entrance blink every now and then. They stand up and roar, welcoming you to the building, then sit back down after you move past them. You're surprised to find waterfalls in the library. Flowing water in a building full of books seems like a bad idea, but the place is magical. Maybe the books are waterproof. You explore more. Books are organizing themselves on shelves, and there are endless hallways that are sectioned off, lit by lanterns with blue fire. The humanoid canine in the center of the room doesn't acknowledge you at first. Your eyes keep roaming back to him. You've never seen someone with a dog's head before. The canine person has a long snout with a pair of spectacles that rests before his nose. He's using his writing quill to summon and send away different books.
Well, hello there. You must not be from the spiral, or you wouldn't be staring.
His fluffy muzzle curls into a warm smile. Your cheeks flush and you quietly apologize.
Don't worry about it,
he says with a dry chuckle.
We get magical wizards that come from outside the spiral more often than you think. I'm Harold Argleston, Master Librarian Extraordinaire.
You slowly shuffle over to him, hand him the tome, and tell him about how you got it from Rattlebone's tower.
This tome is from an underworld tyrant who was going to give it to his dark master. My, I do believe this is a matter for Headmaster Ambrose.
His muzzle ruffles as he gingerly puts the thick book down. He keeps his paw floating above the cover, but won't touch it anymore.
I wouldn't recommend opening the book. Looks like this item is cursed. Before you give this to Ambrose, take this treasure card. I give one to every new student I meet.
He flicks his magical writing quill and the book, along with a delicate shiny golden card, float toward you. Seeing how heedful he is with the tome, you take one of the belts off your deck and tie it to the mysterious book. Binding the pages is probably good enough. You scurry to the headmaster's office and he greets you as you enter.
Oh good, you're back. What's the update on Unicorn Way?
You fill him in, answering all of Merle's questions.
Let me get this all sorted. A pirate captain and his crew came back from the dead, tried to get revenge on Lady Oriole by destroying the street and her ferries, and were searching for this book.
He pauses and mumbles to himself. You can't make out what he's saying.
You know, I'm very impressed. I didn't expect you to solve all of Unicorn Way's problems. I thought he would just assist the guards with small tasks.
You carefully hand him the bound book.
Is this the cursed tome?
He lifts a bushy eyebrow. You nod with your eyes. He unlatches the belt and reads the cover out loud.
On the trail of the Order of the Fang. Why would Rattlebones be interested in this? Who was he going to give this to? I will certainly look into this.
He places the book in a drawer in his desk.
While I do that, you should meet all the teachers in Ravenwood now that classes are over for the day. Let's induct you officially into our academy. I'll send you to Mr. Lincoln. He should have you registered into Ravenwood by the hour. He will introduce you to all of the professors.
Merle hands you a map of the commons and school grounds. He places a thick-knuckled finger on the map and glides his finger across it to a new location. A shiny path is drawn on the page as if the tip of his finger was a glittery pen. You feel like a newbie relying on a map to get to your destination while all the other students start off with no aid. Another dark tunnel leads to the school campus. After making your way through, your jaw involuntarily slackens. There's a tower-sized tree in the center of many buildings. Beams of light leak out between leaves and the mammoth-sized branches above you. You've never seen a tree so large in your life. You notice all the grooves form a face in the trunk, and that the tree is slowly expanding and compressing, as if it were breathing. Your attention is pulled to a tall stork who's clearing his throat. Ah, you must be the new student. You're Talon, right? Most of Ravenwood already knows who you are. Word spreads fast when you clear out a neighborhood of all its trouble in a single day. I'm Mr. Lincoln, and I just have some quick paperwork to get you enrolled. Sign here, initials here, and a lock of hair here. Are you allergic to unicorns or Eye of Newt? You can hardly keep up with his quick pace. The pages flip faster than you can read them. You shrug your shoulders. You've never been around unicorns or newts. His glasses slide down his beak as he watches your reaction. Good, I don't appreciate the order Ambrose has done all of this in, but it's too late now. You've already dabbled in some magic that your professors were supposed to teach you. He sighs as he sticks your paperwork under his left wing. He uses his other wing to gesture toward the group in front of you. Meet your professors while I put the final stamps on your enrollment. Then we'll talk about which classes you'll be entering. A small chubby woman in a frilly winter-themed apron zips toward you. Her wings buzz and have small snowflakes trailing behind them. She pushes up her doll-sized reading glasses and clasps her hands together. Welcome to Ravenwood. I am the Ice Professor Lydia Greyrose. I teach thaumaturges to endure like permafrost, withstanding all attacks. If you'll allow me to take you under my wing, your opponents will be as frozen as a snow serpent. She flies away as fast as she approached you, then returns with a trail of snow behind her. You hear a croak and peer around at all the teachers, searching for the sound.
Down here, young fellow!
Your eyes follow the words to a small dapper frog, standing on a suitcase and leaning on a mini cane.
I'm Halston Baelstrom, the Storm Professor. In the Storm School, I instruct young diviners to strike hard, fast as lightning. Defeat the enemy before they know what hit them.
He hops into the air and points his cane to the sky. A bolt of lightning flashes from the tip.
If you stick with me, you'll control the weather and summon allies from the fiercest of storms.
A tall, hourglass-shaped woman pipes in after the electric frog. Her dress moves on its own and flows like a flame, but with the speed of slow magma, like the fire cat you summoned. We pyromancers of the fire school prefer to carefully fan the flames. The name's Dahlia Falmea, and I'll be your fire instructor. Fire students utilize damage over time spells. We slowly burn our enemies to cinders. She sways to the side and rests a hand on her hip. If you join my class, you'll be casting the hottest, most popular spells. My fire students use their passions to cast dragons and phoenixes. A cow standing on her hind legs clicks her front hooves together. Commanding the elements is indeed impressive, but Thurges of the Life School seek harmony with nature, which gives us the power to heal others. She closes her eyes and seems calm and comfortable in her layered garments. Her ears twist forward in your direction. I have mastered the study of life and teach others how to understand the world around them. She smiles and whips a Japanese fan out of her robes. I sense hope and peace within you. If you train under me, Mulinda Wu, you'll break sturdy rocks with the simplest of life spells.
Sorcerers also seek harmony, symmetry in all things. Balance is a unique magic from Crocotopia, which supports and enhances the other schools.
A dog with a British accent, wearing a top hat and a monocle, steps forward. He gives you a handshake with his paw.
I'm Arthur Weathersfield, and I represent the Croc who created the Balance School. If you choose to be in my class, you'll summon ancient wizards from Crocotopia. If you can't decide on a single school, then you should train with me. Balance encompasses all elemental and spiritual spells.
You hear a sigh to your left. A bald man in a high-collared wizard robe is smacking his wand like a gavel.
Fireballs and flowers, freshman magic that. All the wizards summon monsters to fight for us, but only the best conjurers dare study the ways of myth.
You wait for him to explain who he is, like all the other professors have.
Why are you staring?
He asks with a scowl. The teachers stare at him and make different gestures until Lydia clears her throat and says, "Introduce yourself."
If I must.
He rolls his eyes.
I'm Cyrus Drake, the myth professor. If you think you're good enough to summon the most mythical beasts, then find me in my classroom for your first lesson.
You hear a stutter come from a young, higher-pitched voice.
And I'm Malorn. Not exactly a teacher. I was the last Death Professor's pupil and have been asked to teach other necromancers how to cast death spells.
The kid appears as young as you. He has skulls all over his outfit, but it's mix-matched. His suit makes him look like a pirate, but his hat says Jester. There's a big black widow spider on his shoulder.
We haven't had a real death instructor since the last one turned evil and destroyed the school.
He pauses nervously and gives an awkward smile.
So, I can get you started at being a necromancer. Our death spells drain health from enemies, damaging them and healing us at the same time.
He grips the base of his staff in both hands and swings the rod back and forth with nervous energy. There's an awkward silence. The stork stalks over with his long legs. The clacking of his talons fills the space. Well, new pupil, which type of magic would you like to pursue? Which school speaks to you the most? You notice the mosaic tiled floor covered in leaves. The tiles have all the symbols of the different school elements, and all the teachers are standing in front of their symbols. All the schools speak to you. You can't pick between any of them. All of the teachers expectantly wait for you, except the balance teacher. He's taken his suitcase back from the storm professor and limped away from the group, resigning himself to sit on the sturdy suitcase. After rubbing his monocle on his suit, he realizes you've still not answered the question and sends you a wink. Arthur's words ring through your ears once more. You know you want to learn about all the schools, so you ask Mr. Lincoln about sorcery. Wonderful! The Balance School doesn't have a classroom in Ravenwood, so I'll send all the other professors away. Return back to me when you're ready to settle in. The stork opens up a book and quickly runs his quill across the page. He seems busy.
Come this way, new pupil.
Mr. Weathersfield waves you over to the grass patch in front of the enormous, breathing tree. His hat is slightly tilted on his head, and his long coat flows with the slight breeze. You join the dapper-dressed man. From here, you have a great view of Ravenwood. There are columns with strips of elements on the top, lightning bolts for the storm classroom, and vines for the life classroom.
I know this seems shabby since I don't have a classroom, however balanced magic is actually taught in Crocotopia, a fascinating desert world with pyramids, home to a kingdom of mystic reptiles. Their ancient sorcerers invented a composite of primal magics called balance. Alhazred, the croc who discovered balance magic, taught me the arts of all the schools, and has trusted me to start students off with the basics of balance in Ravenwood. Then, when you're ready, you'll go to Crocotopia to learn from him yourself.
Arthur gestures toward all the classrooms and elemental trees.
Without a classroom, I can teach students out here, under the clouds, where you can see every school that works together to create a balance in the world.
He's right. You can see 2 trees, not nearly as large as Bartleby, but they have faces like him. One has a storm cloud violently stirring above him. He's more miserable than the wailing ghost on Unicorn Way. The other tree has sparkling pink blossoms, the complete opposite expression to the weeping willow. Arthur snaps his fingers and his hand fills with sand. He pulls a card out of the grains with his empty paw, wipes the dusty piece off on his suit, then hands the spell to you.
Here, young chap.
The card reads Elemental Shield. You study the symbol to cast the card. The shape is a combination of the storm, ice, and fire symbols. Half a snowflake that leads down to a lightning bolt with fire on the end. You trace the symbol into the air, and each part is made out of the elements: ice, electricity, and flame. 3 shields emerge from the carving and float down to the ground, balancing on the tips.
What a superb cast!
He gives one of the shields a spin.
Bravo!
He pulls a second card out of his pocket and lets you study it.
This is the 2-pip spell I'll be teaching you.
He smiles and uses his cane to draw the card symbol into the ground. You watch in awe as the dirt and large roots before you get enveloped by sand and large pale bricks. A giant red scorpion digs out of the sand, and its crab-like legs scuttle toward you. The scorpion rears its armored tail, ready to strike. You instinctively grab the ice shield off the ground and hold it up to protect you. Mr. Weathersfield taps his cane firmly on the ground, and all the sand, bricks, and scorpion get sucked into the end like a vacuum. As you slowly lower your shield, your professor hands you the card.
Practice this before a battle. It's easy for me to summon Scorpion because I've taught this so many times. You'll have to draw the energy from Crocotopia to summon your very own Scorpion. As your proficiency level increases, I'll call you here to learn unique spells only the most practiced of sorcerers can master. Now go tell Mr. Lincoln you're ready to finish your enrollment. Toodles!
He points his cane towards the stork, who hasn't put his quill down. You rush over to Mr. Lincoln, and he tilts his book down to glance at you. Have you learned your 2-pip spell? You eagerly nod your head. Wonderful! Every spell your teacher provides is free, but if you want to learn from other professors, you'll need to give them a training point. It's like a training session you've earned by doing specific tasks. Here, I'll give you one now. He pulls out a small journal and a stamp, flips through to the last page, and marks the paper, then hands the book to you. The pocketbook has a swirl embedded on the cover, and your name engraves itself underneath the symbol. That one's yours. Most students log their current quests in their spellbook, keep their cards they aren't using organized, and log what items they own. I like to keep a list of all the currently enrolled students in mine. Last thing, these are the student dorms. Everyone goes in the door and is transported into their room. I've assigned you to your own dorm. He brings you to a round castle tower and opens the entrance. You can store items and decorate your room however you want. The key to your dorm is in your journal I gave you. It's a spell that will teleport you here from anywhere in the spiral, so when you're far away from home and need a break, cast this spell and you'll be safe. He closes the door and holds his big catalog to the side, tucking the tome beneath his wing again. Tomorrow, when you're ready and settled in, go report to Headmaster Ambrose. Congratulations on your enrollment. He stiffly walks away and grabs the attention of another student. After a very deep sleep, you put on the school uniform and wander over to Headmaster Ambrose's office. You're famished, dirty, and don't know where anything in the city is. His office is messy. Piles of books lie next to empty shelves, and there's paperwork on every surface. The headmaster appears surprised to see you.
I'm so glad you're officially enrolled now. I should apologize for the strange order of events. I now officially welcome you to Ravenwood Academy.
Ambrose takes your pocketbook and opens the front cover. He taps the first page with his staff, and golden letters write themselves. The writing is a seal, officially making you a part of the school. The sparkling stamp says you're a student studying in Ravenwood Academy under Arthur Weathersfield and Alhazred in Krakatopia.
Ah, you need more clothes. I should have also mentioned that the robes I gave you aren't permanent. I like to let the students decide what they want to wear. When wizards get stronger, they usually choose armor over robes for extra protection.
He nods his head to another student.
I would like you to go with Miss Doodle here.
Merle's office is so chaotic you hadn't even noticed the student in hot pink polka dot robes. It's just Abby, she says with an enthusiastic wave.
Go explore the shopping district. She'll give you a tour, then come see me when you've freshened up and feel more comfortable with Wizard City.
Abby pulls a paper crane out of her pocket. The crane flaps its wings and floats around her. You leave with Abby K. Doodle. Hi, it's nice to meet you. When did you enroll into Ravenwood? She seems really friendly. I'm sure you've already been here before. What am I talking about? Of course you've already been here before. You had to get to Admiral Ambrose's office somehow, right? You spend the whole afternoon walking around the city, meeting all the shopkeepers and all the other students. This is the shopping district. I go here all the time. I love shopping. You pick out a new outfit and get the clothes instantly dyed by Darla, a shop owner. This is Old Town. The most important building here is the bazaar. Refreshed, full, and more prepared to live here, you return to Merle Ambrose. There are two fairies beside him, a small sprite in a simple white dress made of lily petals, and a green fairy with a blonde bob haircut. They're holding a scroll between them. Ambrose smiles, then clears his throat.
Good news, young pupil. These two sprites have a message for you from Lady Oriel.
The fairies gracefully hand you the scroll and softly sing in unison as you unfurl the paper. Thank you for freeing us from the pirate crew. After you saved us, we flew to Lady Oriel anew, a favor we owed you. At the bottom of the scroll, there's a spell attached. The image looks just like the sprite wearing a leaf dress and a flower crown before you, and the name on the card makes sense. It's just fairy. The small magical being taps the rough paper and points to herself. I'll heal you whenever you call. We owe you our lives. Thank you for Rattlebone's fall. They flutter around you and leave through the open window. Ambrose claps his hands together.
That's very nice of Lady Oriel.
You recall her wanting nothing to do with you or Saren. A sneaking suspicion pulls at your thoughts. This spell is from the sprites, not her. You tuck the card into your deck. Merle waves a finger.
Speaking of Unicorn Way, it seems that the problems on that street were only the beginning. Chaos erupted all over the neighborhoods overnight. Undead are running amok in the streets, and Ravenwood's former allies have turned against us. I'm worried about who is behind all of this.
He pulls at the tips of his beard with nervous fingers.
I know you're very new to the school, but your victory on Unicorn Way makes me believe that you're more than ready to handle another crisis. I need you to help in the streets of Old Town. Go through the shopping district to get there. Find Sergeant Muldoon. He has the same uniform as Private Connolly, but he's wearing orange for Old Town's colors. He'll show you the 3 streets there where undead have invaded. I've already sent other students down there to help the guards and keep the hordes out of the residents' houses. We must set things right and find out who brought the dead back. If you need help, you can always come back here and I'll guide you. May your magic show you the way.
He nods his head to you as you run off for your next quest. You arrive in Old Town. It didn't seem that old to you when Abby showed you around. Multiple towers with green roofing sit on the edge of the winding cliffs. There's a shop called the Bazaar, which Abby informed you is very popular. A long boat with shields adorning the sides rides the sky as if a calm ocean were rolling against Old Town's edges. The place is bustling with wizards and people, but a single guard keeps everyone from passing. He's blocking all 3 gates. The few students who do pass him must have special permission like you. He has to be Sergeant Muldoon.
Halt, student!
The man with a Bartleby crest on his tunic stamps his foot and thumps his spear.
Beyond these gates, the city's gone mad. You may not move past me unless given permission from the Headmaster.
You raise a finger, about to tell him that you do have permission, but a student cries out down the path. Help! You and the guard whip your heads around. A wizard zips on their broom, chasing a firecat who's being dragged away from them via severed, rotting arm. Whiskers! She shouts as the pet continues to escape her grasp. The scared, flaming feline is yanked into a castle and the door slams shut. The guard jumps in surprise.
Gah, more trouble. That was the caretaker's tower before he passed away. Something's off. No one's allowed in there, so who took her pet?
He pinches the bridge of his nose.
I can't leave my post. Will you please help that wizard get her pet back?
You firmly nod your head and rush down. The classmate in a curled flame-patterned hat is using her sparked wand to blow fire at the door, but the entrance is unaffected. She yanks at the door handle and cries out, I can't deal with this right now. I'm supposed to help Miss Darkkettle and Firecat Alley, who steals a wizard's familiar.
Need help?
You ask. Yes. Can you help me get into this building? It's locked. That monster could be doing anything to my whiskers right now. She has navy blue hair tied into 2 pointy side ponytails. She's wearing a long dress with a sun printed on the chest. You circle the tower and find a small area of bricks that's missing. She calls from the other side of the tower. I'm Anna Flambright, by the way. Before you can return your own greeting, a small flying piggle peeks out of the hole in the bricks. It spots you, motions for you to follow them, then squeezes back into the crack in the tower. You pull loose bricks away until the hole is big enough for you to crawl through, then cautiously enter. The place is dusty and full of cobwebs. You can't make out much more than the cobblestone floor. The piggle squeals ahead. Another girl's voice is shouting, Help! Oh no! Once you get into a crouching position behind some barrels, a quaking, mini, wooden construct hugs your shoulder. This new creature resembles the school you chose. The gears whir and it motions past the barrels you've crawled next to toward the entrance of the tower. A girl, maybe a year younger than you, is standing in a fighting position, her skull wand at the ready, the piggles hugging her leg. Her rod is knocked out of her hand by a thunder snake. A gnarly ghoul had cast the vicious viper. He has the key to the front of the castle in his hand and proceeds to swallow it. She gasps, and her knees hit the floor. Her black vine-patterned cloak has dusty handprints all over. The foul ghoul smiles.
You shouldn't have come to this tower. Gonna interfere with things that don't concern ya. I'ma rid Old Town of all them vermin, just like I did when I, took care of the cemetery.
She shakes her hooded head. Why did I follow you here, Stripy Piggle? I can't believe She stops mid-sentence, spotting you behind the storage. You, the other wizard, please help me. The new wooden pet that's by your side runs at the caretaker. You stand upright and ready your wand. While dueling the gravedigger, he throws a second key out of his pocket. The key lands behind a barred-off stairwell. He casts one last spell, lightning bats.
Yeah, I know when I'm whooped, but you can't get through those bars nohow. Those vermin will stay locked up, yes they will.
The electric bats grab him and his body falls apart in segments. Each bat is carrying one of his body parts. They fly through the hole you originally entered through. The girl in black stares at the crazy escape.
What? I guess that's one way to get rid of him.
She grabs her wand and rushes over to the barred up room and snakes her arm between the rusty rods. The tip of her wand is a good foot away from the key.
Dawn, do you have any ideas?
She seems puzzled.
What's your name?
You tell her and she introduces herself in return.
Hi, Talon. I'm Penny Dreadful. I'm from Marleybone. I'm new here and quite lost. I saw this little stripy piggle and couldn't help but follow him in here. That ghoul locked me in here like the rest of the fuzzy animals. I really overestimated my abilities. I'm not even enrolled yet. Can this get any worse?
She sighs and backtracks.
You were great though. I don't suppose you have any ideas.
You can sympathize. You were in the same boat just yesterday, unenrolled and facing a skeleton crew. The trusting wooden construct that helped you fight off Old Judd tugs on your robes. You peer down and your new friend gives you the key. The little guy must have squeezed through the bars while the two of you were talking. Penny Dreadful hops up and down and claps while you unlock the gate. A horde of critters hops down the stairs and tramples Penny. She giggles and pushes the piggle off of her.
This is great! Since you saved me, I'll make sure all the pets get back to the pet pavilion and find their owners with the help of that guard I saw earlier. I hope he knows where the pavilion is. Do you want to be friends? I could use some help finding my way to the Headmaster's office.
The firecat licks her face.
Oh, but first I'll watch the pets while you get the guard. Tell him that the caretaker's gone nuts.
You squeeze through the back. Neither you nor Penny were able to unlock the front door. Anna spots you and flies over on her broom.
What happened? You went around the tower and disappeared. Then I saw a bunch of lightning bats carrying something into Triton Avenue.
You sum up everything and she nods her head.
Well, I'll find my whiskers, help Penny get all the unclaimed pets to the pavilion, then I'll go back to my quest on Firecat Alley. Thank you for rescuing everyone.
She gives you a hug. You hike back up the path to the guard.
What was in the tower? Old Judd came back from the dead?
He tugs on his mustache.
I didn't think Judd was the type to steal students' pets. He did hate any animals that crawled into the cemetery, though. Thanks for saving the pets and a student. But I can't just sit here and congratulate you. I have more pressing matters at the moment.
Before he finishes, you tell him Penny needs help with the pets.
I don't have the time to help her either. I saw Abby Doodle earlier. She should be able to help Penny. Anyway, I can't leave any unauthorized people into any of the streets without...
His eyes widen.
Wait, are you the hero of Unicorn Way?
You involuntarily smirk and nod your head.
Did the Headmaster send you to help? Oh, thank goodness. We could use someone like you. We have undead all over the place. Every cursed spirit and vile ghost we sealed away has broken free and attacked the city. Now we know even Old Judd has turned against us. Nowhere is safe.
Sweat accumulates on his brows.
I've got alarming reports from Cyclops Lane and Triton Avenue. And I haven't heard anything out of Firecat Alley. You should start in the latter. I haven't gotten any reports from Private Quinn.
Thanks for watching this far. The male voices in the video are done by Pancake. That's Pancake with the N and C switched. I hope you'll look forward to Firecat Alley in the next video.